Let's think about what makes a proper spreadsheet. Now I have a spreadsheet open right now, and it's a pretty spreadsheet. It has lots of colors on it. At the top it has Good Time Elementary School and a nice title. Underneath that are lists of classes, and they're separated by grades and by teacher. You see first grade Mrs. Thomas, you scroll down and there's first grade Mrs. Garrett, and on down to second and third grade. Each grade, each class is separated by an extra space, which is kind of nice because it's not so cluttered up. So you think, yeah, I can read this. I can make sense of this spreadsheet. I like this spreadsheet. But then you start wondering stuff. You look at Nicole Gomez here, and the cell with Nicole Gomez in it is filled with yellow. And you're thinking to yourself, what's that all about? Why does it have yellow in it? And you see down here, there's a few more with yellow in it too. And then there's some of these over here that have orange in them in the gender thing, and some of them are male and some are female. It doesn't make any sense to you. And that's the problem when you just start filling cells that mean something to you, because a lot of times we collaborate with others. When we let other people work on these things, on these spreadsheets, and we fill it with random colors, these cells with random colors, that might mean something to you, but don't mean anything to them, they're kind of wondering, what is this supposed to mean? How am I supposed to make any sense of this? And even if you fill these cells with a color today, maybe you've set the spreadsheet aside and you come back to work on it 2 weeks later and you forget what the colors mean. So that's a problem, right? So maybe this spreadsheet's not as great as it could be as far as making sense of the data, being able to use the data, being able to manipulate the data and get some meaning from it, okay? Now, actually, here's a spreadsheet here that I think is superior. Yeah, it doesn't have all the colors and all the stuff that makes the other one look so pretty, but it has all the information that the other spreadsheet has, and it's organized in a more functional way in which you can use a spreadsheet and get more power from it. Let me show you some examples. First of all, if you wanted to know, for an example, how many females are in school, there's no way to really figure that out here. You can't really do a sort with this data. Let me show you why. If you go to data and you sort the sheet A to Z, this is what you get. The problem is, see, it doesn't group them in a way that's really good. All the classes are all jumbled together. You have all your teachers all here with Isaac Fallendor in the middle of them. It just messed everything up, right? So let's undo that. The reason is because you have these spaces here, and you can sort, but it doesn't really give you the results you want. It's worse with filters. Let me show you a filter. Here's the filter. It tells you there's a problem because you can't create a filter within a range containing merges. And there's a merge right up here on the top. This whole title up here is a big merge all the way across. You can't include that in a filter because it's merged. And the spaces in between the different grades and the different classes, that also creates a problem. So anyway, there's problems, okay? Let's go back to my spreadsheet, the one I like better. Now, you look at this spreadsheet and you're thinking to yourself, well, that's nice and everything, but it's too confusing. It doesn't make any sense to me. I can't see where the students belong because right now they're just kind of in there alphabetically, but it's all random according to grade level and teacher. Well, it is right now. That's the beauty of a spreadsheet like this, because we can change it up to look however we want it to look and show whatever we want it to show. So yes, right now the students are alphabetical, A to Y in this case. But if we put our cursor over here in the upper left-hand corner, now we can sort the entire spreadsheet. The entire spreadsheet is highlighted, it's chosen. We can go to data, we can do a sort range, we can do an advanced sort range, and now we have some options here. We want it sorted first of all by the grade level, and that's column B. So we're going to choose column B. Then we're going to add another sort column, and next we want within that the teacher sort, so we know which actual class they go into and not just the grade level. And the teachers are column D. But then within that teacher sort, now they're in the classrooms. Now we want them alphabetized, the students alphabetized. So we're going to add a third column, the student column, which is column A. So we're sorting the grade level, and then the teacher, and then the students. We'll press the sort button, and there you have it. As you can see here, we have all the first graders sorted first, and then the second graders underneath, and then the third graders. That's good. But over on the side over here under teacher, we have all the Garretts together, and then it changes to the Thomases, and then the Franklins in second grade. So they're all sorted together. And then over here, these are all alphabetized according to the classroom. It starts with Bennett, and it goes down all the way to Wanzer. But then when it changes from Garrett to Thomas as far as the teacher, it starts the alphabetizing all over again for the students. So that's pretty cool, okay? Now let's say we want to get some different information from this spreadsheet besides just putting them in the classroom, such as how many boys are in school? Okay, well that would be our gender, right? So we're going to go down here to the bottom. We're going to choose our COUNTIF function. Remember, that's a math thing. Go to COUNTIF. We need to put, first of all, the range in there. And so we go to the very tippy top, and we highlight all the way down. There we go. Stop it right there at the bottom. We're going to put a comma to separate the range from the actual criterion. And our criterion is in quotation marks, and it should be male to stand for the boys. And we have 70 boys in school. It's just that easy. Something I want to show you with using formulas as well. That's a lot of scrolling to do, right? We know that the first row with data in it is row 2. And we have these, the first row frozen so that as we scroll down, we can see exactly what the rows stand for, which is good. So let's say we want to do the same thing, but with girls this time. I'm going to actually type it in this time, equal COUNTIF, COUNTIF, parenthesis. Now this time, instead of doing all that scrolling for the range, I'm simply going to put C2 colon C151. And see how it highlighted the whole range for me right there? The colon says through, so we want C2 through C151. We have a range without having to do all that scrolling. So just an alternate way of doing it. The comma in there to separate the range from the criterion. And our criteria is going to be quotation mark F this time, quotation mark, close parenthesis, because we have to close the whole thing in parentheses, 80. So we have 80 girls and 70 boys in class for a total of 150. That's good to know, huh? What do we want to know? How many girls are in daycare? Okay, how many girls are in daycare? We're going to be using our gender column and our daycare column. This time we're going to use the COUNTIF function because we have more than one criterion going on, right? Or argument. So here we go. We're going to do some math things. We're going to look up math here, COUNTIF. Our range, our first range is going to be for the girls, right? So it's the range of C2 colon C151, comma, and we wanted the girls this time, so it's going to be F, put those in quotation marks. So it's C2 colon C151, comma, quotation mark F, quotation mark. Another comma to separate that from our next argument. And we want to know how many were in daycare. Is that what we're doing? How many girls in daycare? Okay, I think that's what we're doing. So let's assume that's what we're doing. How many girls in daycare? We got the girls part. Now we need F2 colon F151, okay, comma, quotation mark. And we want, if daycare is checked, so it should be equal true, quotation mark. So that's going to show all the ones that are checked with those check marks in daycare. So if we did this right, we're going to have all the girls who are in daycare. We have 27 girls in daycare. That's pretty cool, huh? So you can manipulate your data far better than you can with a spreadsheet like this. One more thing I want to show you about spreadsheets like this too that are pretty cool. I'm going to get rid of all these formulas we have lurking in the background here right now because I'm going to show you something different. All right, I'm going to move me out of the way for a second, okay? I'm going to move me up here if you don't mind. And let's just put a cursor down there somewhere. And notice that when we do, we have this Explore button down here. Now this is a pretty cool feature, this Explore button, because I'm going to move myself actually over here a little bit because I'm going to get myself in the way of the Explore. When you push the Explore button, it automatically gives you some insights about your data. For example, right now it says count of name for each teacher. So if you press that, here it shows how many each teacher has in the class. And you can click on that and open it up and actually see at a glance how many are in each classroom just by clicking that, that table, okay? That's pretty cool. Let's go back. Most frequent teacher, well, that's interesting. Not too helpful, but interesting. Here you have the count of teachers, and see it's pretty well equally distributed between teachers. Let's explore something different though, something totally different. Instead of teachers, let's ask it, and you can ask it things, and it might not come out just right, but that's okay. Watch this. How many we'll say gender F in daycare? Now it's going to say it couldn't understand your question, but it gives you an alternate way to explain it or to ask the question in a way it might understand, because then it says, do you mean count of daycare for gender of F? Well, that's exactly what we mean. So by pressing that, it gives us the answer. There are 27. Now that we know how it kind of wants it, let's look for count of lunch. Count of lunch for teacher Thomas. And there you go, 7. So the Explore thing is a way to quickly find answers without having to do a lot of the other data manipulation that might be pretty basic, but just a quick way to ask it a question and get a quick answer out of it. And like I say, you can't really successfully get your answers as good with a spreadsheet like this as you can with a spreadsheet like this. So I would recommend that if you really want to mess with your data, to have just a good, well-organized, basic spreadsheet that has things organized by columns, knows that all the teachers are listed over and over and over again, instead of just a teacher in the heading up here as Mr. Hellsworth is, and all the grade levels are over here listed over and over again, instead of just one thing that says second grade Mr. Hellsworth as a heading, because you can't manipulate that data, but you can here. In other words, over here there's no way to ask this how many first graders are in daycare. No way to do that, but you can with a spreadsheet like this. So I encourage you, use a proper spreadsheet, learn how to use it, because it'll serve you well. That's it for this time. Bye.